Hello everyone, this is Alex Stryzak with my MPA 545 Week 2 presentation. So a quick overview of what this presentation will talk on. I'm going to look at 4 different authors that talked on 4 different topics over the first 3 chapters of our book, which includes negotiation as a good option, pre-negotiation, collaborative power, and defining success. And so when we look at these topics, we're going to expand past what the textbook showed us and also look at what else these authors were conveying in their writing. So to start us off, we have negotiation, a good option, which is Fisher and Ury. And Fisher and Ury argued that battling for positions and arguing over these types of positions is inefficient, and that it also can endanger the ongoing relationship. It should be looking for a win-win situation that can lead towards the future. Now, one of the issues that comes up that is discussed further in Fisher and Ury's actual article, and this book is titled Getting to Yes. And in this book, they talk also on page 6 about it's important to see how many parties are being involved in the discussions and the negotiations. When there's more parties, it is more likely to be more personal issues that may come up, more personal gain wanted from each party, and that can complicate the issue. So it's important to factor in how many parties will be involved. The next topic I wanted to look at was pre-negotiation. Now, in our book, the author Stein talks about making sure you're coming to the table prepared for negotiations and looking at all the even little to big details that may come up. Part of this process of looking at these details is shaping the landscape of knowing what it's going to look like when you get into negotiations. Similar how you would see in this photo, you see mountains, you may see plains, you may see rivers. You need to know what type of topics may come up and what the other party may be asking for in discussions. When looking at Stein's article from 1989, Getting to the Table, the Triggers, Functions, and Consequences of Pre-Negotiation, on page 475, it continues to talk about the importance of looking into the common interests between both parties. Both parties are obviously coming to negotiate because some type of event or common interest brought the two parties together to the table, or the minimum 2 parties. That means they do have some shared interest in getting an accomplishment done or an outcome, and this is something that when negotiating should be the center and the forefront of the negotiation process. The next topic is collaborative power, and we see this through Craig and Craig in our book. This values short-term tension because it can lead to long-term success and happiness for those involved in the resolution process of this either negotiation or issue. So part of it is stating that you have to give a reason for what everything's being done and how it will help everyone involved. And all this ties in together to the idea of synergy, which is working together, showing that you're cooperating, and combining efforts together. And so when looking at Craig and Craig's article from 1974 on synergic power, on page 62 it elaborates on building for the future, that this is the most important, is that we're building towards the future. Yes, you may have some short-term speed bumps, but it's letting everyone know that this process is to build future success that we can have long-lasting. Whatever little difficulties we're having now shouldn't get in the way of the future success and should instead be used as inspiration to work together. So the last topic I wanted to look at from our textbooks, chapters 1 through 3, was defining success, which was on page 47 in our textbook from Jant, which is win-win negotiating. The paragraph describes that the goal of negotiation is always not just to get a yes, but it's that whatever comes of this results in a resolving of the current conflict and can also be in the best interest of both parties involved, so that both are progressing and it's not one side winning, one side losing. The idea is to be a win-win to where conflict has been settled and progress can be made. Now, in Jant's writing Win-Win Negotiating, on page 143, it expands on the importance of how this is seen in the long term, that if 2 parties are able to work together to both find a way to progress together, it's more likely they'll do business or negotiate in the future. They'll be more willing to make a deal in the future, and they'll also be in a better position to make a deal in the future because of their success. So to conclude this presentation, looking back at the importance of negotiation and pre-negotiation, collaborative power, and defining success, all of these have really preached on the importance of making sure that both parties are working together towards achieving progress on both ends of the agreement. It's not that one side's trying to win, which means the other side has to lose. Part of that is preparing and knowing what the landscape's going to be going into negotiations. Part of it is knowing how many different parties you're going to be dealing with. Part of it also needs to be that you're willing to work with the other side and you're willing to understand the future and understand the importance of working together for a brighter future.